There is a moment in the book of Job, and there is a moment in Bhagavad Gita. And if you place them side by side, they are almost the same scene. A man stands in front of God. The man questions. The man demands to understand. And God answers, not with words, but by showing himself. Same opening, same setup, same terrifying invitation and revelation. But everything that happens after is opposite. Let's talk about it. The book of Job may be the oldest piece of writing in the entire Hebrew Bible, older than Abraham, older than Christianity. And I think it was written to answer the one question every religion eventually has to face: why does the good man suffer? Here is the brief of the story of this book. The book starts in a courtroom, not on earth, but in heaven. The sons of God are presenting themselves before the God, and among them walks in a figure that we can call Satan. Doesn't mean the devil with the horns, it just means something closer to prosecutor and a kind of very rational advocate, one who walks on earth and report back and what he finds. It's an interesting story. So God asks Satan, like they are friends, or why God is talking to Satan? Well, because he is. And then unprompted, almost like a proud father, the God can't help himself. God brings up Job. He says, have you noticed my servant? There is no one like him on earth. Blameless, upright, absolutely moral, and avoids evil. Satan isn't impressed. He has a theory, and it's a cold one. Skin for skin, he says. He is devoted to you, he is loyal to you, he is moral because you have gave him everything. You have given him money, you have given him reputation in society, you have given him a good family, all these things you have given him. And that's why he is devoted to you. He is faithful. And when Satan, being Satan, with a touch of a smile, he says, why don't you take it away, everything you have given him? And then we will see what happens. Satan says, I'm quite sure he will curse you. Well, God takes the bet. So, further in story, God deliberately destroys his devotee's life. He takes away his wife, he kills his children, his farmland is gone, his house is destroyed, he is naked on the street. And people tell him that only sane thing anyone can do in this scenario is curse God and die. He said, I have accepted good from God, whatever good has given me. Should I not accept also the trouble? You see, he's still faithful. And because all of this suffering, Job becomes angrier and angrier. He demands trial to God. He wants justification for his suffering. He wants to take his case directly to the God. And then the absurd happens. The God actually answers. Comes the whirlwind with explosions and grandeur. And God appears in front of Job and he asks him, who are you to question me? You tiny, puny creature, who are you to question me? Where were you when I created the universe? Where were you when I created the stars and the galaxies? He literally shows him these cosmic visions of monsters and creations and stars and galaxies and infinity of time. He says, I created all this out of my intelligence and might and power. Where were you? Can you do this? Can you make all this? Can you make this Leviathan, this monster I made? Can you make this galaxy, this star? Can you make the earth? Can you make the sea? Who are you to question my decision? Who are you to ask for justification for your suffering? And Job, after seeing all this magnanimity of the cosmic creation and the power and the sheer intelligence and madness of what God shows him, he says, I have heard you, God. He says, I now understand. You see, something shifted from heresy to direct encounter. And the shift itself is what breaks him. He finally says to God, I take back what I said and I repent in dust and ashes. You see, God has not explained suffering. God has not justified a single dead child or unnecessary suffering. God has simply shown himself vast and powerful enough that the question and the demand of justice become so small in his presence. See, Job's surrender isn't understanding. It's the dissolution of his will into something too large to argue against. Now let's move back to Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 11, Arjuna has been listening to Krishna's teaching for 10 chapters. But listening isn't enough for him, of course, because we are Indians. So he wants to see. He says, "Show me your glory. Show me your own supreme form, O Krishna." Of course, we know that Krishna does the unthinkable. He actually shows him his Vishwarupa. Now, Arjuna is blinded by this light of 1,000 suns raising at once, he says, Surya Sahasraya. Arjuna being shown the same absurdity and magnanimity of the power, and he sees every god that has ever been worshipped folded into one body of Krishna. He says every being that has ever lived and ever died moving through this one form of Krishna. He sees destruction itself wearing the face of Krishna. Everything that exists already being devoured by Krishna and being created out of him. After seeing all this, Arjuna is terrified. Just like Job, his strength drains out of him. His peace is gone. He's going mad. He says, "Show me your human form again, Krishna." He begs, says, "I want to see you as you were before, like my friend, like human." And Krishna does. He changes himself back into human form. But before he changes back, he says the thing the entire chapter has been building towards. He says to Arjuna, after seeing all this, "Fear not, my friend. Only through undivided love and attention can a man see me, know me, and come to me. He who acts for my sake, who makes me his highest end, free of attachment, who makes me his highest end and his highest goal, he comes to me." Here, Arjuna is flabbergasted, yes, but he is not destroyed by what he saw. He is transformed by it. Vision terrifies him, yes, but it also opens something. Knowledge of God becomes his companion for the battle still ahead of him. Gives him access. It promises he can also know this. He, Arjuna, can also see this. He can one day become what he saw. After all, the Atman, the small individual self, turns out to already be the Brahman, the Absolute, not finitude wearing clothes of shame, but a tremendous potential hiding inside the limited form of Arjuna also, just like Krishna. You see, Job is humiliated. Arjuna is recognized. That's the difference. You see, the setup is the same. Human questions. God reveals himself, and human is overwhelmed, almost past the point of survival. But one God offers the annihilation of the self, the other offers reunion with the self. One says, "You are too small to understand me, bow and obey." The other says, "You were never separate from me. See it, know it, love it, and you will wake up to what you already are and were." This isn't a small difference. This is the difference between two entire civilizations' answer to the question. The question which is, what is a human being after all? In the Abrahamic imagination, broadly speaking, the encounter with the divine produces fear, obedience, humility. You are dust and God is everything. The only sane response in this situation is to surrender one's will completely. Meanwhile, in the Hindu imagination, the encounter produces recognition. It's revelation. It says, "You are the divine, wearing a disguise of human." The task was never blind faith. It's direct experience and seeing, not belief, not shrinking yourself, but recognition of what you already are. You know, interestingly, when Sri Aurobindo was writing on Gita, he was blunt about this. He argued that religion built on the fear of God comes from the private idea, God as a magnified human king. The Gita, he says, doesn't end in fear. It ends in union through love and knowledge. So, Job and Arjuna, Yahweh and Krishna. One says, "You matter so little, you must disappear." The other says, "You matter so much that you are infinite."